This week I worked on gameplay feedback, weapon visuals, and making the boss phase more interactive. I started by fixing an issue with monster hit feedback. When one monster got hit, other monsters were flinching too. That came from a juice mechanic I added earlier, but in gameplay it did not feel right. I changed it so the hit reaction stays on the monster that was actually hit. Before moving into the weapon effects, I went back to the unlockables menu. Last week I noticed that XP could look a bit like HP with the current font. For now I only changed the XP text to a more readable font. After that I worked on the Ice Nova visual. I switched the basic effect to a free asset, then checked that the visual size matched the actual damage area. For an area weapon, the effect should show where the damage is happening, so the player can read it without guessing. I changed the exploding orb. I found another free asset that worked better for the orb visuals and reused the explosion effect I already had from the homing missile. The orb now fires into a set area in front of hero instead of targeting monsters, so I updated the visual around that behavior. I used a few free assets for these effects and I'll list the asset names in the description. I spent a little more time tuning the Ice Nova and exploding orb together. This was about making the size, timing and readability feel right during normal gameplay. I worked on XP decay again. Decay is now easier to see and after enough time, without spawning, it becomes more unforgiving. Since the game is built around spawning monsters, the player should be able to read that spawning too much and spawning too little both have risks. The bigger gameplay change this week was the boss phase. Before, when the boss spawned, monster spawning was locked, so the player was mostly watching the boss phase happen. Now clicking damages the boss. Since spawning is the main input in the game, this keeps the player involved during the boss fights too. To make that clearer, I added a glow to the boss and a click response, where the boss briefly scales up and returns to normal. That makes the click feel more connected to what is happening on the screen. The boss click feedback, XP decay and weapon effects now work together to make the game easier to read while playing. Next week I want to spend more time testing full runs, tune what stands out and decide what still needs work. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.